So you just normal, How many miles do you guys run a week typically? I heard you do 75 rounds.
We don't do that many rounds, but I'm a believer in a lot of running. Okay, I'm a believer in a lot of sprints. We do runs of 3.5 miles on Monday, sometimes 4 miles. On Tuesday we do sprints. On Thursday we do sprints. On Wednesday and Friday we do miles. And it all depends on what I feel like that morning. They don't know what they're going to do every morning. On Saturday we run 5 miles in the morning, and they have Saturday off and Sunday off. So it really all depends. What he does a lot of is he does a lot of sit-ups and a lot of neck exercises. He does probably 12 to 1,500 in the morning, 12 to 1,500 before training, and 12 to 1,500 after training.
Abs,
yeah.
What does that say about Golovkin, him coming into fight camp at 171 when guys blow up 40 pounds?
Unfortunately, those fighters are gone, long gone. Everybody kills himself. I hope. I mean, you can see these guys here, and you've been around enough fights to know who's drying out and who's killing himself and who's not killing himself. And it's sad because really it takes away from your ability. It takes away from you looking great. You have an opportunity to look as. That's why I keep saying about Dominic. I hope that they did everything responsible and came to this fight in a manner that gives him the best opportunity to win. And not enough guys do that. It's sad, really. Terry Norris was the same way, though. Terry Norris, if you ever see his weights when I had him, it was 52, 51, 52 and a half, 53. He was never even close to 54 because they're professionals. They give themselves the best chance to win.
Do you have a whipping camp? Do you have a whipping camp? Is that why they come in so ready?
You know
to
what?
work?
I run a very military camp. I run a camp where I'm in charge, and if you don't like it, you can leave my camp. I'm in charge, and this is the way that it is. You hire me for a reason. For us, unfortunately for us, who make the least money and who get the least recognition, I'm talking about the trainers, I'm talking about all the trainers. When they lose, that's stupid trainer. When they win by themselves.
When you say your one sentence about Gennady Golovkin when he goes into the Hall of Fame, what would that one sentence be?
Discipline. Disciplined fighter. He eats and sleeps boxing when he's in camp. He eats and sleeps family when he's at home.
Did you give him the Mexican style moniker? Did you guys conversate about that and say, let's give you some type of name that, resonates with the fans?
About a month after I started training him, I showed him a video of Julio Cesar Chavez fighting Edwin Rosario. And I promised him that if he gave me 3 years, I promised him that I would make him just like Julio Cesar Chavez, except for he'd be a bigger puncher and he'd be knocking guys out to the body. So a guy with 350, imagine this, a guy with 350 amateur fights, he's 17-0, he's number one across the board in the world, Sturm doesn't want to fight him, he's running from him. Coming to my camp and willing to do, I had been out of the business since 2001. Okay? In 2010 is when he came to me. I had a couple little fighters in the gym, but he comes to me and he's willing to give me that and not question one thing. To this day, 6 years later, he doesn't question nothing. Like I said a little while ago, I say what happens in the morning, I say what happens in the afternoon when they're training. They have no clue. He has no clue. So for a guy to do that, that just shows you not only the faith, but the discipline that he has within himself to be able to do that.
Well, who was the first one that said it? That said Mexican style? Was it you? Was it him?
It was him on TV.
Yeah.
It was him on TV. Okay. It was him on a Gil fight? Was it?
I think it was.
No, it was after Rosado. I think it was the Gil fight. But they were interviewing him, and he said that.
Was it still true that he has never been dropped in sparring? Or
he's never been dropped in sparring. I don't know about the amateurs. I wasn't there in the amateurs. Darnell Boone was in our camp. I don't know if you know Darnell Boone. Okay. Darnell Boone was in our camp, and I put protection on these guys, and I don't like Gennady hitting them to the head. I like Gennady hitting them to the body and hitting them to the shoulders. And Darnell did an interview not too long ago, said that Andre and Sergey could not handle him. He beat him. We have not seen. We saw some of it in the Lemieux fight. We have not really seen everything that we see in the gym, that Darnell saw, that Julia saw, that Paul sees every day. We haven't seen any of that. Hopefully, if Dominic comes to fight and he's prepared, like I hope Jay got him, then we may see another layer. But there's layers to him that we haven't seen, and until we get somebody that forces him, we're not going to see that.
Darnell Boone, he knocked down Andre Ward. He beat Adonis Stevens once. He gave Kovalev all kind of problems
in the first fight.
And he talked about how hard of a puncher Gennady Golovkin is. what does Gennady Golovkin and what do you guys think about him in sparring?
He's cagey. He's an old veteran. He's a guy that does a lot of things that the younger guys don't do because he's been around. He's got 50 fights or something like that don't do. He's good for us. He's good for us because I put him in at the end when Gennady's, and I put him in the 10th, 11th, and 12th round when Gennady's tired, and that way it gives him not only a second win, speed, trickiness, veteran, all that, and Gennady's gonna be in his P's and Q's because by you saying that he knocked down Kovalev and knocked down Ward, he can punch. Darnell can punch. He just fought in Canada against an undefeated guy, 20-0, knocked him down 3 times and lost the decision.
That's boom for
you.
Yes.
But he also knocked out and Adonis Stevenson.
Yeah, he knocked him out.
Yeah. He has that on his record too. He's good for us because, and it was Golovkin that asked me to bring him in.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't have him in at the beginning. I had Balayas, Jackson, and Mendez, and then Gennady asked me to bring Darnell in.
Oh, interesting.
To be the 4th one because I always bring one in like towards the end to give us more rounds and in a little different look, and Gennady asked me to bring him in.
Interesting.
Based on what you saw from Pacquiao's last fight, do you think he should retire or maybe do one last fight?
I didn't see the fight. I was at the fight, but I walked out after the Ramirez fight because I've seen that fight twice already. I didn't want to see it. And am I wrong? Is that exactly what happened, right? Is those 2 fights all over again? I thought that Timmy done a disservice to himself by allowing his wife to dictate who was training him. I think that Joel Diaz took him to 5 world titles and a hell of a lot of money. I don't think he looked any different. But Manny's got to do what Manny wants to do because of his responsibilities. He's got a country on his back, and I think he feels the pressure of having to do whatever he does for his people.
Outside of your fighter, my last question: what's your dream fight and who wins?
What's my dream fight?
Outside of Gennady.
Outside of Gennady? I have a cruiserweight, Danny Garcia, who fights on the 17th of May in Minnesota. I would love to see him fight Lebedev or what's the other cruiserweight champion from over there from Russia. But anyway, that within me. Other than that, I would love to see Errol Spence get about 4 more fights and Errol Spence fight Keith Thurman.
Yeah.
What? You think he needs 4?
I think he needs 3 or 4 fights. Yeah, I think 3 fights and then Keith in the 4th fight. Hopefully Keith gets by Sean.
So you're assuming he gets by Sean. You're predicting Keith over Sean.
I think he wins a close decision or people get knocked down or knocked out. I think he stops him late if he stops him, but yeah, that would be a heck of a fight.
So since you said 4 fights, do you agree with what Danny Garcia just said? Because they asked Danny what he thought about Spence, and he was like, "Oh, he need about 3 more fights."
Spence. Danny can't handle Spence.
Danny's last fight.
Danny needs to stay away from Spence.
Yeah.
Danny gets stopped by Spence.
He gets stopped
just
by
like Algieri did.
Yeah.
What about Broner versus?
Unfortunately for Mike, and I speak for coaches, unfortunately for Mike Stafford, he had a gem at the beginning, and for some reason it went to this boy's head, and it's really, I'm sure Mike has sleepless nights over not being able to control this superstar, because he could have been a superstar. He could have been the next Mayweather, but for some reason Adrian thinks that he can do all the stuff he does on the outside and still do the things inside. Man, this is a jealous business. If you don't do 100%, this business is going to tell on you. It's telling you.
If you could put money on it, Abel, Kell Brook is, or Errol Spence is pretty much his mandatory, or will be very soon. Once he becomes the mandatory to where Kell Brook has to fight him, does he fight him?
Kell?
Yeah, does Kell Brook fight Errol Spence?
Well, let me say this. I would hope that fight wouldn't happen for Errol's sake. I think he needs a couple more fights, like I said, even for that against Kell. But that's a heck of a fight. I think that Kell vacates and moves up. I think that he's growing. I think that he's having a hard time making 147, and there's greener pastures at 154.
And he's calling out Golovkin, Kell Brook.
Yeah, you know what? It's a business, man.
You want that?
This is a business.
We got another 30 minutes.
It's a great fight.
I think that's a
great
good fight.
I had Carson Jones fight him and beat the heck out of him in the first fight.
Oh, you were training Carson Jones for that fight?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Kell's grown a lot since then, but Spence needs a little more seasoning. But that's a heck of a fight. Errol against anybody in 3 or 4 fights is a fight.
So you're a fan, Dave?
I'm a fan. I think that's, like I said a little while ago, I think that's Terry Norris reincarnated. I hope that he has a little better chin, but if he does, he's going to be a heck of a fighter for a long time.
Thanks for your time, man.
All right, thank you, man.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, man. Bye-bye.
Quick question for me. Triple G obviously just threw out the first pitch. Second time around, he did it. Third time, yeah. Do you think he, like being from Kazakhstan, realizes the gravity of how big that is, like to have a boxer do something?
He realizes it now. Maybe the first time he didn't, but I think he does now. I think he understands he loved the ambiance in the arena, in the stadium. He loved the fact that all these people are screaming and all these people are diehard fans, and it kind of reminds him of a baseball. Of a boxing fan. So I think now he's understanding.
And also with his new deal with Jordan, I mean that's another huge deal, a huge honor to have. Does he know Jordan's? Does he kind of know that brand, having gotten that deal?
Oh, of course. Jordan's is something that even in Kazakhstan they watch Michael forever play basketball. You know, it's a brand that's international, worldwide, and known by everybody. So he feels like a kid in a candy store. Now he's one of the few guys that Jordan has. You know.
Did you get some nice stuff?
He got some real nice stuff. Yes.
Did you get nice stuff?
Yeah, we all got nice stuff. But I think the importance of it is the fact that they considered him. You know, and how many boxers really get that kind of, besides Evander Holyfield doing some stuff now, what fighters, George Foreman, what fighters really get an opportunity to do that? They don't.
No, it's definitely true. Well, hey, sir, best of luck Saturday, and thank you always for the time, man. Thank you.